Greetings, dedicated viewers. You've tuned in to our YouTube channel for your daily dose of important global political events. In today's bulletin, we're focusing on some key events. The Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu was quoted in a Reuter news report on the 25th of October, announcing a robust offensive against Hamas, while deliberately withholding critical details. He made it clear that decisions to the military's entry into Gaza are under the deliberation of the incumbent cabinet. As per Reuter, Israeli tanks and troops have been gathering near the Gaza border, with an emergency reserve of around 360,000 soldiers at the ready. Simultaneously, U.S. President Joe Biden, accompanied by the Australian Prime Minister Antony Albanese, proposed a two-state solution in a joint press briefing. According to Biden, it is incumbent on Israel to act responsibly by defending against Hamas strikes, while ensuring minimal civilian casualties. The president is adamant that the cycle of conflict must be broken, and that aid must be promptly delivered to Gaza. In addition, the Biden administration has Israel to hold off on their ground operations in Gaza to allow time for the U.S. to secure adequate military reinforcements. There are various factors behind this request, ranging from the need for additional time to negotiate the release of hostages held by Hamas, to the requirement for more aid in the region, and the desire to avoid an urban conflict. The U.S. is supportive of Israel's objective to annihilate Hamas, but requests a few more days to facilitate the installation of new systems. In light of recent events, such as an attack on a U.S. Navy warship in the northern Red Sea, the U.S. has deployed additional troops and 2 carrier strike groups near Israel to deter Iranian forces. The U.S. has voiced concerns to Israel about the potential of a second front opening up if Iran or Hezbollah retaliate following Israel's actions in Gaza. The U.S. is currently working on deploying missile defense systems to safeguard both and American forces in the region, with a primary focus on protecting the American military personnel. On the other side of the political spectrum, French President Emmanuel Macron cautioned Israel against a widespread ground operation in Gaza. He highlighted plans to deploy France's second-largest frigate for humanitarian aid in Gaza, following his visit to Israel. Macron's diplomatic ventures span Israel, the West Bank, Jordan, and Egypt, with the end goal of diminishing the conflict between Israel and Hamas. Macron, along with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, urged for impartiality in international affairs and the adherence to international law, while placing a particular emphasis on humanitarian issues. Macron also shed light on France's key regional concerns: counterterrorism efforts, civilian protection, humanitarian assistance, and the establishment of a political solution. In conclusion, Macron solicited the support of Egyptian leaders to advocate for a peaceful coexistence between Israel and Palestine. In the current scenario, President Macron of France declared that the second-largest multi-mission frigate of the French Navy, the Torre, would be dispatched to Gaza in less than 48 hours. This frigate's mission is to assist in humanitarian operations by serving as a mobile field hospital for the local populace. Simultaneously, a French aircraft carrying medical supplies is set to land in Egypt, considered a crucial facilitator in global humanitarian interventions in the present Gaza situation. After an extensive Middle East tour that brought him to Israel, the West Bank, Jordan, and Egypt, the French president returned home. During his stay in Israel, he advocated for the nation's right self-defense, but cautioned against a land invasion of Gaza that might endanger civilian lives. His naval forces are currently getting ready to aid Gaza. Macron appealed for a two-state resolution and intended his visit to foster regional peace and coexistence. The recent Israeli airstrikes have resulted in high casualties, leading to numerous unidentified bodies. To prevent a calamity, some Gaza Palestinians are being interred in unmarked mass graves. To mitigate the risk of complete family annihilation during the Gaza bombings, Ali Andaba's family split up. His wife remained in Gaza City with their 4 children while he relocated to Khan Yunis in the south with more of their offspring. Meanwhile, Israelis near the Gaza border have been alerted to find immediate shelter, as they may face a large-scale attack. They've been told to gather communication equipment, food, water, blankets, medications, and other vital supplies for their hideouts. Concurrently, Israel anticipates a flurry of heavy rocket attacks targeting the southern part of the country. Tor Wennesland, the UN Special Coordinator for the Middle East peace process, made a rare appeal for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. His statement underlined the need for a swift humanitarian ceasefire to save civilian lives and to distribute aid efficiently. His concern was that too many innocent lives, including children, have been lost due to the ongoing hostility. The UN agencies comprising the WHO, WFP, UNICEF, UNDP, and UNFPA jointly issued a statement emphasizing the dire humanitarian circumstances in Gaza. They urged the global community to provide additional aid given the deteriorating situation, stressing that over 1.6 million Gaza residents urgently need humanitarian assistance. Notably, children, pregnant women, and the elderly are most at risk, and nearly half of Gaza's population is under 18 years old. A fresh publication from the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, indicates that Gaza Strip's healthcare system is teetering on the edge of total breakdown. Numerous medical centers are already operating at full capacity, and critical medical supplies are in short supply. The enclave is not only battling this dire state of affairs, but also fending off acute power outages, with electricity being a luxury, accessible only for a handful of hours each day. The OCHA paints a harrowing picture of health institutions in Gaza, stretched thin by the constant barrage of injured individuals. Patients in need of specialist care are faced with the arduous task of accessing it. The absence of potable water, adequate sanitation, and a reliable waste management system are further intensifying the looming health and environmental crises. This deterioration is hastened by extensive damage to the water and sewage infrastructure, thereby heightening the risk of waterborne illnesses, particularly among children. The publication underscores the urgent requirement for humanitarian aid to tackle the escalating health and environmental hazards. The worsening humanitarian condition in Gaza has set alarm bells ringing globally, with numerous countries pledging support and aid to mitigate the ramifications of this crisis and aid civilians in the crossfire. We pledge to keep you abreast of the unfolding situation in the Middle East. We appreciate your attention today.